Activision Blizzard has a number of remastered and reimagined titles in development. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at this article to see what Blizzard has in store for us in the future, as well as ATVI fourth quarter earnings. And then, of course, we'll take a look at how to potentially trade it and or invest if you're interested in the stock. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Mal. If you're new here, I'm a day trader, I'm an investor, and I like looking at charts. If you've been here before, you know this channel is focused on primarily helping beginner traders get started and giving them access to information I wish I had when I started trading. I've been trading for about 8 years now, and it's been a very interesting journey. So I wanted to create this channel for those that are interested in trading or potentially investing, and they're not sure where to start or how to read the market. This is what we talk about on this channel. I've made several videos at this point now talking about how to read candlesticks, how to trade gaps, how gaps actually happen, and just general news that drives the market and create gaps. This episode will be continuing more along the lines of the podcast style. I try to make one podcast style video a week talking about news and how it could potentially affect the market, as well as how to trade it if you're interested in trading that particular stock. And one day a week, right now, I'm trying to make an educational video. I know not everyone is interested in trading stocks, but for those of you that are, both of those videos should be greatly beneficial. And those that are not interested in trading, maybe they're interested more in investing. We take a look at charts, support and resistance, and just general information and some market analysis and predictions on what could potentially happen. So first things first, Activision Blizzard, ticker symbol ATVI, has announced that it's looking at remastering and reimagining some titles. So here we go. Looking at this, I see a picture of Crash Bandicoot, of course. Activision Blizzard is no stranger to digging into its back catalog of games to pull out a few wins. The publisher brought Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon out of hibernation and gave World of Warcraft new life. While the publisher didn't elaborate further, we know that Blizzard has games that date all the way back to 1980. They have lots of titles they can pick from to remaster. I remember playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater. That was an awesome game. And of course, Diablo 2, which I would love to see remastered. Many people think that Diablo 2 was the best Diablo, myself included. So I would love if they actually remastered it. I would play the daylights out of that game. You can see they have some other titles as well that they can pick from. So it looks like it's still unclear as to which games they are remastering. At least they haven't announced a list of remastered games. But it will be very interesting to see, since we have seen the Warcraft 3 remaster, as well as StarCraft remaster. And I'm not sure what else they have done, but I'm really hoping that Diablo 2 will get remastered. I really enjoy that. So this article, even though it's a little bit of a teaser, gives us kind of an overall view on what they're working on. So this is telling me a couple of things. That one, the crowd wants to see some remastered games, or at least from their point of view. And two, they may not have a new game coming out. And that's a little disappointing. I know Blizzard used to be very good at developing brand new, groundbreaking games. So we'll see how the public reacts to this, how the fans take the news, as well as traders. Here I have the fourth quarter 2019 earnings results for ATVI. Game publisher Activision Blizzard exceeded its outlook for both the fourth quarter and full year of 2019, but the reported year-over-year declines. That is good news and bad news, right? So it's great that they exceeded their revenue for fourth quarter and 2019, but the overall revenue decline could be potentially a bearish sign for longer term investors. Whether you trade or you invest in stocks, one good place to look at is actually Seeking Alpha. So I'm on Seeking Alpha right now, And ticker symbol for Activision Blizzard is ATVI. And you can just go to seekingalpha.com, type the symbol up top, and it'll come up. And if you're a longer term investor, looks like, let's take a look at their dividend. And they do pay a dividend. And they have grown their dividend for 9 years. So that's a good sign. But I want to dig into the charts in a couple of minutes and actually show you that my overall view on the stock is bearish. All right, so here we are on Activision Blizzard stock. Ticker symbol ATVI up in the left-hand corner. You can type that in. And actually what I want to do is I want to go to the daily chart and I want to extend the time frame from 2 years. Let's go back to 5 years. We're looking at the daily chart, and this is actually a candlestick chart. This displays what price has done. This chart displays price action. If you're not sure how to read a candlestick chart, I'll put a link up in the right top hand corner. I made a video talking about how to read candlesticks, as well as how to read market structure and kind of what we're looking at. All right, so if we scrunch the chart up a little bit, we know that we had a all-time high of $84.68. This was in 2018, and then ever since then, we just kind of had a waterfall. So right now, since I would say February of 2019, we were bullish. And a good way to do this is you can take your drawing tool and go from the bottom. Right here, we had kind of a double bottom here. And then we came up, we retraced, we broke the high, we retraced again. Then we kind of trended sideways, but still coming up here. And so now what we're doing is we're making higher highs and we're making higher lows. So right now we have been, or at least for the past year, the stock has been bullish, right? And then we kind of come up here. And then we're got a little bit of a double top here, but we did break this high, so we're currently somewhere here. So we have been bullish here, right? If you draw a line, you can kind of do this, and you can see we're bullish. One thing that I would be very careful with if you're an investor or if you're a trader, what we can do is we can draw our support and resistance lines. So I take my little price tool down here, this price level, and the first thing that pops out at me is right here. I have a bounce here. I have a bounce here. I have a bounce here. There's two bounces here. Let me flip that up. There's another one right here. Edit properties. There's two bounces. So there's 3, 4. This one kind of breaks through and then gets back up. So, and we're kind of right there. And I have a bounce right here as well. So if we copy this, now I'm using Thinkorswim. It is not the best charting platform, but it's a good trading platform. There are much better charting platforms out there, easier to use, but this one I've used this for a long time and I'm just kind of used to it. So back to the price level that sticks out is right here. That is a resistance because of all this fluff here. We had so many bounces. There's a bounce right here as well. There's a bounce here. So there are lots of levels where, or lots of points where price got rejected, signifying that this is a strong area. And so what happened is we came up here and we got rejected. This was a resistance area until we grinded our way through and then came back and retested it as support. And then we broke through it and we took off. Now, coming back over here to the all-time high, we just completely blew through that area. It didn't even bounce at all. And so we're coming right back up into that previous area. So now this should act as resistance. Now that we're here, I want to zoom in. I want to take a look at this. So now that we're here, we could potentially do something like this. We could get rejected again and come up and then break through and then possibly come back down and test it and continue. or we can just get rejected and then just go lower. Because looking at a longer term view, if we zoom the chart out here, in my opinion, we are bearish. I don't think that the stock is strong enough to make it back to the all-time highs again. I honestly think we're going to come back down to about this area here. See this gap and this bounce here? 2 bounces here plus this bounce here? I would say right here would be the next level of strong resistance. Or in this case, if we come down, this will act as potential support. There's a bounce here, there's a bounce here, and then there's a bounce right here as well. And then as well as this one here. So I would say that if you are a longer term investor, and if you're holding for dividends or you're hoping that the stock will come back to the all-time highs in my opinion, I don't think it will, but the stock market is going to do what the stock market is going to do, and it is not guaranteed to do what I think it will. My job as a technical trader is to trade certain patterns, and I primarily trade gaps and breakout patterns. And as I say all the time, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. My job is to be 50 to 60% right. And if I control my risk, have defined entry, stops, and targets, I can stay profitable trading. So I went ahead and deleted some of these lines. And I want to go down. Let's go down to the 5-minute and see what's going on here. So it looks like on the 5-minute chart, we have broken through that line and we're retesting it as support. So we could potentially go higher on the short term. And one of the things I look for is to see how the market reacts to the news. If the market reacts to the news positively and we get a gap, news comes out, and then we open over the highs here, this for me would be a long play. If we open lower, then we could potentially be short. So this is kind of the style that I trade. Only time will tell. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comment section. I enjoy feedback and I like talking about trading. And the goal of this channel is not to confuse anybody, but to actually help you. So I don't want to make these videos too long. If any of this information was helpful to you, subscribing and hitting the like button will let the YouTube algorithm know that there's quality content in this video. If you'd like to see this video get recommended to more people, leaving a comment will help the algorithm do that. Leave me a comment below. I plan on picking some similar themed comments and questions to talk about in my upcoming videos. That's all for now. I'll see you in my next video.